You released your mock draft 2.0 on 420. Shout out to you. We got a little bit stoned and read through it or whatever. Now, whenever you're making these mock draft Schrags, is this from like your conversations with people and who you think they're going to take, or is this like you ranking people on how you feel they should go?
No one gives a hell what my rankings are. The truth is, like, that's what makes mine different, and I try to take pride in that. I'm going to brag a little bit here, but annually I'm one of the most accurate, if not the most accurate mock draft. And mine is not because here's what I would do at pick 3. I've never watched a second of tape. I don't do it. I don't grind the tape. I don't scout. I couldn't tell you about hip flexors and movements. I just have a phone with every important contact at most teams, and I just pester and I berate and I try to get as much information as possible. And what you notice is I'll put out a mock draft, and it might be some stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense, and immediately I'll get 20 different texts, calls from GMs around the league being like, ooh, so where'd you hear that from? And I actually see it this way. And wait, you didn't include Azeez Ojulari from Georgia. He should be the second pass rusher. He's not even in your mock draft. Or I'll get a call and say, hey, be careful with Rondale Moore. He's 5'7". Yeah, he's good, but like 5'7", he might not be a first-round pick. So by the time I get to my last mock draft, which is next week, I think there's a lot of credence I take in it. I take a lot of pride in it, Pat. I'm always working on it. And for the most part, I feel like I'm usually pretty much in the vicinity, and I'll have a couple guys in there by the final mock draft that no one else does, and they typically go in the first round.
Okay, Schrags, I appreciate hearing that, by the way, because now, listen, going forward, we always talk, Schrags, about how we don't have the text message to GMs.
Right.
By the way, shout out to you doing Senior Bowl, putting in the work to get to know these people and getting that information. I don't watch all the film either. I have no idea who a lot of these people. Now, granted, top 10 I know who they are, but a lot of them I don't. So we have to pick and choose who we follow for our particular opinions if we're to give some. It's nice to know that this is one that we can rely on here. Yep. It's nice to know that. Trevor Lawrence going 1, that's locked in, even though Balky said they've had some calls about 1 and they think they're okay. 2, Zach Wilson. When did this happen, Shrek? When did Zach Wilson become the overall number 2 instead of Justin Fields? Because it felt like Justin Fields at number 2 was locked in immediately upon the Jets winning that game whenever they no longer had the number 1 pick. It's like, well, now the Jets get Justin Fields. How did that change happen so much? And when did this guy, Mac Jones, skyrocket over that? Is that the potential photographic memory thing that everybody's obsessed with, or the incredible year he had in an NFL type offense last year? How did those two things happen there?
Quickly on number 2, I don't put things out there, and I've been having Zach Wilson to the Jets for quite some time, even before Darnold was traded. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Number 3 is the one that I'm getting a lot of heat from, and this one really comes from the San Francisco fan base, where it's like, it just doesn't make sense to us. Mac Jones, you don't trade up 2 first-round picks to get there. I've gotten, not heat, but I've gotten a lot of people saying, like, you shouldn't be putting that out there unless you know that. I don't know that. I could tell you this. I know that San Francisco went to Trey Lance's pro day on Monday and were blown away, and those guys really were impressed. And Trey Lance's parents were on site, and, like, Trey Lance has been really, really incredible in these meetings. I just feel, reading the tea leaves, that as of right now, a week out, I think it's Lance or it's Mac Jones. And I think when it's all said and done, Mac Jones is a sure fit. I don't think Justin Fields – I haven't heard much Justin Fields to the Niners other than the stuff that Vegas is saying and some other blogs and stuff. But around the league, it doesn't come from the Niners. It comes from other GMs and coaches. Their feeling is it's either the sure thing in Mac Jones, and it might not be a sure thing, but at least the guy that's a finished product that we've been watching, or it's the complete unknown and the possibilities of Trey Lance. But Justin Fields right now does not seem like that's what I'm hearing with the 49ers.
Trey Lance, let's go, dude.
Okay.
Hey, bring the mom and dad out to pro day. Come meet Shanahan. Come meet Shanahan. We're going to coach Beck. Kyle Pitts at number 4 at the Atlanta Falcons. This is obviously as long as the Falcons don't trade, right? Or do you think they're pretty locked in on Kyle Pitts, which would be the 3rd top 5 tight end drafted since 1950, I think, or something like that. 1961 was Ditka. 72 was another tight end. That's on me. And there hasn't been another tight end drafted top 5 since then. Kyle Pitts, everybody said, is a lock to be an all-pro. You see him going to the Falcons? Or do you think Falcons potentially move?
No, look, early on, everything I was hearing was quarterback for the Falcons. And then as of late, I've been hearing Kyle Pitts. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with this FaceTime.
No, you're doing great. You actually look good.
Trying, bro.
And your arm's going to be tired, too. So we appreciate you.
Quarterback. Honestly. And then just recently, I've heard a lot of Kyle Pitts, but I wouldn't be shocked if they go quarterback at number 4, with the feeling being new coach. We don't expect to ever be up here in the top 5 again. We want to be good. We're not expecting to have this opportunity again. There's a guy we like, but Kyle Pitts universally is considered the best non-quarterback in this draft and will likely be the first non-quarterback taken.
Okay, so then we got Sewell, the offensive tackle to the Bengals. Shout out to them.
I'm wavering. Pat, I'm wavering on this one. I put this out there, and this is the whole
They got to protect
process.
Joe Burrow. They have to protect Joe Burrow. They have to do that.
Everything I thought was protect that knee, protect that knee. The information I've gotten since I put this mock draft out last 48 hours is it could very well easily be Jamar Chase. And it's not that Burrow's been banging the table for his college teammate. It's just that Jamar Chase is that much of a prospect. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's make sure we keep Joe Burrow afloat, though. Yeah. You know, maybe for an entire season. Then Jamar Chase, okay, which everybody's talking about. He's going to be insane. He's pumped up about the single-digit numbers, okay. Then Jalen Waddle going to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, that was something that came out that they were looking to move or maybe go get a big-time wide receiver. Now, is that because Cliff Kingsbury, Kyler Murray, Kyman, the boys over there, they see what's going on at the top of each conference? AFC, a lot of weapons. That's how you win. NFC, Tampa Bay, a lot of weapons. That's how you win. Are they just trying to load that thing up because they see the trends everywhere else, or do you think it's just best available player at this point?
No, I've got them trading up, but you know what? If it doesn't work out, I still think they would go offense, even if at 16. You know, a couple names to watch for them. If they can't get all the way up there, they would love to have Waddle and Smith. And I could just say it honestly. They're looking to give Kyler every possibility he can to succeed, and it means surrounding him with weapons.
Aaron Rodgers would love that.
Yeah, he sure would.
Imagine that.
Aaron Rodgers would love that.
I'm sure you've met him. Keim is one of the coolest GMs that you'll meet, and Cliff is as smooth as it comes. And they're pretty straight up in that they want to give Kyler a chance to succeed. I'll give you a name, though, at 16, and I think this might shock a lot of people, but everyone wants to talk about offensive line, and that's a very good possibility if one of those top guys, Slater or Darisaw, slips. But this doesn't come from Arizona directly, but just my feeling, they just want weapons, right? Weapons. I wouldn't be shocked at 16. They're the team that takes a Najee Harris or a Travis Etienne. I just think they're going to give him everything he can have. And can you imagine a backfield with Kyler and Najee Harris, and then you've got DeAndre and Kirk, and you've got AJ Green? Like, I think Cliff and Kyler, they're going to do everything they can on offense to maximize Kyler Murray while he's in A, prime health, and B, on that rookie contract.
Okay, and last one here before we let you go. We can't thank you enough for straining your arm, holding his FaceTime up the entire time. The Carolina Panthers with Justin Fields, even though they just signed Sam Darnold to the 5th-year thing for $15 million guaranteed next year or whatever the hell it is, he said and they said it sounds like that's a relationship they would like to be forever. They thought it was going to be like that with Teddy too. So is this just, them potentially kind of like hedging their bet a little bit on Sam Darnold, do you think? Or do you just think it's why do you think this potentially is the case?
This one made a lot of news because people read this mock draft and they're like, wait, Schrager has Tepper is an aggressive owner, Matt Rule is an aggressive coach, and Fitterer is in his first year as general manager. Here's how I looked at it. They haven't given Sam Darnold an extension. They went aggressively after Matt Stafford, offering the 8th overall pick and a future first-round pick to get him. Did not land him. They wanted to at least engage in conversations over Deshaun Watson before that situation went the way it did. So Darnold they got for a 2nd, a 4th, and a 6th. They haven't given him a long-term extension. They're paying next to nothing for him now. My whole thing is if Fields was their number 1 or 2 quarterback going into this thing and he's sitting there at 8, guys, like, I'm a new GM. I got a really aggressive owner who wants to win, and I'm Matt Rule who knows all the college guys. I don't think it's you rip up your draft board because you got Sam Darnold for next to nothing.
Wow.